Welcome to the Faith and Feelings podcast. My name is Taylor Joy, and I'm passionate about helping you untangle and honor your emotions, authentically practice your faith, and integrate both into your everyday life so that you can experience the goodness and delight that comes from living in relationship with yourself, God, and others. Thank you for joining me. Let's get started. Hi, friends, and welcome back to our Advent series. This December, we're walking through Bette Dickinson's devotional, Making Room in Advent, 25 Devotions for a Season of Wonder. This week, we're reading days 7 through 13, and each Monday, I'm sharing one of my favorite devotions. Today's reading invites us into a moment of profound humility in the Christmas story. The angel Gabriel has just delivered God's astonishing promise to Mary. She will conceive and give birth to a son, Jesus. Though he is the Son of the Most High, he will enter the world not in power or prestige, but in vulnerability and dependence. Our all-powerful God choosing to make his entrance through descent into our human experience. We'll read Luke 1:31 through 33, and then I'll read Betty's devotion, Making Room for Descent. Luke 1:31 through 33. You will conceive and give birth to a son, and you are to call him Jesus. He will be great and will be called the Son of the Most High. The Lord God will give him the throne of his father David, and he will reign over Jacob's descendants forever. His kingdom will never end. The fullness of time has come. The long-awaited King of Heaven is coming to earth. All creation has been aching for this moment. The promised Messiah Israel has been waiting for is coming as a tiny babe named Jehovah is Salvation. Gabriel arrives to announce this great mystery. The infinite will grow in finite space. Power will be wrapped in weakness. The eternal will step into time. The invisible will become visible. Heaven will collide with earth and Mary's womb. There are a lot of ways God could have chosen to come and dwell among us, but we learn a lot about who he is and what he is like by how he comes into the world. The Lord of heaven and earth doesn't appear in fire and earthquakes and a booming voice that echoes throughout the world saying, "Here I am, worship me." The King of Kings doesn't arrive with fanfare, trumpets, and a roll-out red carpet. No, he chooses to arrive in such a small way, he literally can't be noticed. The scope of his entire person arrives bound within the walls of an imperceivably small cluster of cells. Jesus comes into the world as a zygote, the tiniest, most defenseless and hidden state a human has ever been in. A zygote can't think. It can't move or do anything miraculous. Eventually, Jesus would do these things, but that is not how he chooses to make his entrance. The all-powerful God chooses to come in weakness and vulnerability. The one who needs nothing chooses to be in need. God is so bent on loving us that he becomes helpless. He so desires to empathize with us that he refuses the comforts and expanse of heaven to experience the pain and limits of our humanity. He is so set on drawing near to us that he constrains himself within the most vulnerable dwelling we have ever called home, the womb. There's a part of me that doesn't want to acknowledge God's descent into the vulnerability of our humanity. Why? Because it means I must face my resistance to descent and vulnerability. In our culture, I am constantly tempted to ascend, to achieve greater things, gain more access, more power, more strength, more wealth, more status in an upward trajectory. Everything is telling me to go up and to the right. But while I am tempted to ascend to be like God, He humbly descends into human form to be like me. God was at the highest place in heaven, yet He comes down to earth to love us. He surrenders His power, comfort, and control. He takes on the blood, sweat, and tears of the body without plugging His nose or looking away. He leans in. He bends low. He gets close. As Jesus grew, He continued to show the world that His kingdom comes in the same way, by descending. He descended into human suffering and did not distance Himself from those in pain. He descended to be with the powerless instead of ascending with the powerful. He descended into the humility of the cross. He descended all the way down to the grave. Let's face it, we all tend to want to ascend to be like God. We want control. We want power. We want comfort. But when we follow Jesus, we forsake the upward ascent because love calls us downward. Love bends low. It leans in. It gets close. Love calls us to descend into our own vulnerability, to love the most vulnerable. And when we descend into human weakness, suffering, and powerlessness to love others, we will be awed by the glory of God that is revealed there. We will be filled with wonder at the paradox of how humans, so limited and vulnerable, can be so filled with the divine. As we end, here are some questions to ponder. Does it comfort or unsettle you that God chose to descend into smallness and vulnerability? And how does this challenge your view of what He is like? Let's end with a breath prayer. Inhale, you descended. And exhale, help me descend. I'm so grateful that you listened to today's episode. Thank you for spending time with me. I'd love to hear from you. Connect with me on Instagram at TaylorJoy or through my website, taylorjoymurray.co. Also, if you enjoyed this conversation, it would mean so much to me if you took a minute to subscribe and review the podcast. This is an easy way to partner with me and is invaluable in reaching new listeners. Until next week.